My friends, I need to tell you something urgent. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, thousands of Australian seniors are missing out on money they're entitled to. Money that could be sitting in their bank accounts in just weeks. And the worst part? Most of them have no idea it's coming. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your pension payment? Really looked at it? Because what I'm about to share could change everything for you this November. Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning. Margaret, a 71-year-old widow from Brisbane, opens her bank account like she does every fortnight. She's expecting the usual amount, the same number she's been seeing for months. But this time, something's different. There's an extra $40 sitting there. She blinks. Checks again. It's real. That's an extra $80 a month. Nearly $500 by Christmas. For Margaret, that's the difference between choosing between medication and groceries, or affording both. Now, Margaret's story isn't unique. It's about to become the reality for hundreds of thousands of Australian pensioners. But here's the catch, and listen carefully, because this is where people get left behind. If your details aren't updated in MyGov, if your income information is even slightly outdated, if your rent hasn't been reported correctly, you could miss out. And unlike Margaret, you might not even know what you've lost. So what's really happening this November? Let me break this down in a way Centrelink never will. For the past 9 months, something has been brewing behind closed doors in Canberra. While grocery prices climbed 20, 30, sometimes 40%, while electricity bills doubled for some households, while rent became so expensive that pensioners were choosing between heating and eating, the government was watching. And more importantly, they were counting. Counting the complaints, counting the stories, counting the votes. And now they've made a decision that breaks from the normal routine. You see, pensions usually get adjusted twice a year, March and September, like clockwork. Small increases tied to inflation. Predictable, safe, boring. But this November is different. This is an emergency response, a mid-cycle adjustment that hasn't happened in years. And it's happening because the numbers got too big to ignore. The Treasury ran the projections. They found that over 60% of Australian retirees had cut back on essentials. Not luxuries, essentials, food, medicine, doctor visits. The kind of things that separate a dignified retirement from just surviving. So here's what's changing. And I want you to really hear this because every word matters to your wallet. If you're on a full-age pension as a single person, you're looking at an extra $30 to $40 every fortnight. Now, I know what you're thinking. $40? That's it? But stay with me. That's $80 a month, nearly $1,000 a year, and it's permanent. This isn't a one-time bonus that disappears. This becomes your new normal. Every future increase builds on this higher base. For couples, you're looking at $45 to $55 combined every fortnight. Again, permanent. Again, building your foundation higher for every future adjustment. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part most people will miss. The income and asset thresholds are rising too. Let me paint you a picture of what this means. Meet Robert. He's 73. He worked hard his whole life, saved a modest amount in super, owns his home. Last year, he lost his part pension because he was just $3,000 over the asset limit. $3,000. The price of a used car. For that, he lost access to hundreds of dollars every fortnight. Lost his pensioner concession card. Lost his chemist discounts. But in November, those thresholds shift. Robert checks his MyGov account and discovers he qualifies again, not just for a part pension, but for the concession card, the rent assistance if he needs it later, the energy supplement. His financial world just expanded, and Robert's not alone. Treasury estimates show tens of thousands of Australians will suddenly qualify again under these new limits. Now, let's talk about rent, because this is where the crisis really lives. I've spoken to pensioners paying 70, sometimes 80% of their pension just on rent. Living in one room, skipping meals, terrified of eviction. The rent assistance supplement is going up again. $10 to $15 extra per fortnight for singles. $15 to $20 for couples. I can already hear some of you saying that's not enough. And you're right. It's not enough to solve the crisis. But it's enough to maybe keep the power on for an extra week. Enough to buy the medication you've been rationing. Enough to matter. But here's the critical part that trips people up. Centrelink needs to know your current rent amount. If you haven't updated it in MyGov, you might be getting less assistance than you're entitled to right now, today, before November even arrives. Check it, update it. Don't leave money on the table. Now, I want to talk about something called the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, because this is a hidden gem that thousands of self-funded retirees don't even know exists. This card is your golden ticket to cheaper medicines, utility discounts, sometimes even transport concessions. And from November, more people will qualify because they're lifting the income threshold. If you checked last year and didn't qualify, check again in November. Your circumstances might not have changed, but the rules have. And that card could save you thousands over the next year. Here's something else that's not being talked about enough. There are whispers, strong whispers from multiple government sources about a one-time Christmas payment. Somewhere between $250 and $500 landing in December, right when bills pile up and costs explode. It's not confirmed yet, but the pressure is building. If it happens, it would hit accounts automatically, just like the pandemic payments did. But let me tell you what worries me and why I'm making this message so direct. Every time there's a Centrelink update, thousands of eligible people miss out. Not because they don't qualify, not because they don't need it, but because they didn't know, didn't check, didn't update their details. So here's what you need to do right now, today, before November arrives. Log into MyGov. Check every detail. Your bank account, your address, your income sources, your rent amount, your assets. One wrong digit, one outdated figure, and you could be waiting weeks or months to fix it while your money sits in limbo. If you haven't logged in for a while and you've forgotten your password, call the older Australians line. Yes, you might wait on hold, but that 30-minute wait could unlock thousands of dollars you're entitled to. And if you've been knocked off the pension before, if you've been told you have too much in assets or earn too much income, November is your second chance. The goalposts have moved. You might be back in the game. This isn't just about money. It's about dignity. It's about recognition. You worked for decades. You built this country. You paid your taxes. You raised families. You deserve to retire without counting every dollar, without choosing between heating and eating, without the constant anxiety of wondering if you'll make it to the end of the month. These November changes are the government's way of saying, we see you, we hear you, and we're trying. It's not perfect. It's not enough to fix everything. But it's real money, real support, and it's coming to your account automatically if your details are correct. So check your details. Tell your friends. Share this with anyone you know on Centrelink. Because the only thing worse than not getting the support you need is not knowing it exists in the first place. Stay informed, stay strong, and remember, you've earned every cent of this. Don't let it slip through your fingers.